Welcome to the Sunday Encouraging Word at Ignite Living with our chaplain, Harry Gilbert. From the serene North Georgia mountains by the shores of Lake Chattooga to the peaceful pastoral views of Southwest Georgia, Ignite Living is a community where life and faith come together. Here, we are not just staff, we're family. We're not merely neighbors. We are friends and partners in this extraordinary journey. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Hiawassee Park neighbors and friends. This is Harry Gilbert, chaplain of Ignite Living at Hiawassee Park in Hiawassee, Georgia, along with friend and colleague Wayne Hundley, also of Hiawassee. Last time we shared around the topic of new beginnings, or just clearing the slate and starting over in 2026. Many, however, find that difficult to do because there's so much holdover from the previous year. Things that just won't go away and still remain to deal with. But God is still where He's always been and waits to walk with us as we navigate our way through those trials and things that threaten our well-being. He wants to be a part of our lives, but He will not intrude. He wants and needs to be asked. The Apostle Paul says to the church at Philippi, found in our Bibles in Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Jesus Himself says in Matthew chapter 11, Come to me all who are weary, and I will give you rest. The writer of Hebrews says in chapter 4, verses 15 and 16, For in Jesus we have a high priest who is able to sympathize with our weaknesses. He has been tempted in every respect, just as we have, yet without sin. Let us then draw near with confidence to the throne of grace, and receive mercy, and find grace to help in time of need. Jesus will not bully Himself into our lives. We have to invite Him in. We have to be serious enough to recognize our need, and help then will come, and with a desire for that help. Then the gumption to swallow our pride and ask for that help. For some, that progression is very difficult, especially the asking for the help part. William C. Poole was born and reared on a farm in Maryland. His parents were members of the Methodist Church. William was graduated from the Washington College and became a Methodist minister in Wilmington, Delaware. He wrote around 500 hymns as a diversion from his pastoral work. His goal in writing, as well as his work in the ministry, was to help people. Pastor Poole wrote the hymn, Just When I Need Him Most, in 1907, early on in his ministry, and the music was supplied by prolific and famed gospel songwriter Charles Gabriel. The theme is similar to some of our aforementioned scripture. It celebrates Christ's timely presence and strength in time of trouble, drawing from biblical themes of God's unfailing help. Listen to the words of William C. Poole's Just When I Need Him Most, set to the tune Gabriel by Charles H. Gabriel.
Just when I need Him, Jesus is near. Just when I falter, just when I ready to help me, ready to cheer, just when I need Him. my call, tenderly watching lest I should fall, just when I need Him most, just when I need Him most, just when I need Him most. Jesus is near to comfort and cheer, just when I need Him most.
Real life is never a Hallmark movie. It does not end happily ever after. It's always to be continued, really never resolved. We seem to move from one crisis to another, sometimes never settling the first crisis before the second or even the third tries to overwhelm us. How deep do we have to sink in the sludge before we ask or cry out for help? We think we know ourselves well enough to be able to handle all the stuff that is layering on top, stack after stack after stack, until it's too late and we collapse into a used up, worn out, burned out heap of no use to us or anyone else. There's that old sin of pride that says, I can do this. I don't need any help. I've taken on worse than this before. Sometimes, and sure, before a catastrophic breakdown occurs, we need to get alone with God and allow Him to help us examine our own character and our own souls. If we want Him to help us, He will do just that. Oswald Chambers, in his devotional guide, My Utmost for His Highest, talks about this subject. He says that Jesus doesn't take us aside and explain things to us all the time. He explains things to us as we are able to understand them. But He does say that God requires us to examine our own souls. It's slow work, so slow that it takes God all of time and eternity to make a person conform to His purpose. We can only be used by God after we allow Him to show us the deep hidden areas of our own character. It's amazing how little we know about ourselves. We don't even recognize the pride within us when we see it. But Jesus will reveal to us everything we have held within ourselves before His grace begins to work. How many of us have learned to look inwardly with that kind of courage? Jesus knows us so much better than we know ourselves. And we have to get rid of the idea that we know ourselves and embrace the idea that Jesus does know us, inside and out. The greatest curse in our spiritual life is pride. As long as we hold as to that pride, we remain unteachable. But when we finally get a glimpse of seeing ourselves as God sees us, we then realize how unworthy we are. But we also realize how loved we are. Then we become teachable, and we receive the help that we so desperately need. Listen to another of Charles Gabriel's great gospel songs, both words and music. In loving kindness, Jesus came.
In loving kindness Jesus came, my soul in mercy to reclaim, and from the depths of sin and shame, through grace He lifted me. From sinking sun He lifted me, with tender hand He lifted me, from shades of night to blades of light, oh praise His name, He lifted me. He called me long before I heard, before my sinful heart was stirred. But when I took Him at His word, forgiven He lived lifted me. Now on a higher plane I dwell, and with my soul